Hello, viewers of the internet. Today I have my Hiruchi Orata, as well as a few other vehicles, because I have now got a selection of cheaper uh, performance vehicles, should I say? Well, these are not performance vehicles, they're just the fastest I could get for 25,000 credits. I also have other categories up until 40k that I can use to hopefully find something pretty fast. Now, if we look at this makes under 100 horsepower. It's not powerful. Then we have the Covet, which is just over a ton and just over 100 horsepower. Pretty good combo overall. This is heavy, very heavy, and it makes just 1 horsepower more than the Covet. But it has diesel power and torque, so the torque should be a lot more than the other vehicles. That's all it can really go for. These are both in the 120s, so quite decently powerful cars, but they're getting up there for weight. Not as much as the Vars, but still. And the Hirochi, well, this is in the 130s. This, for the money, is amazingly powerful. But how it will actually do, we'll just have to wait and see. So here we have the Sunburst, that was it, with the traction control disabled, as so it should be. And let's see how this does. It certainly feels like it has some go to it. It weighs a similar amount to the vehicle we just had. And I smashed the front wheel, but it still feels solid. It still feels like it's tracking straight, which is good. That's much like the Covet. Second gear, well, it'll probably help, come to think of it, that these had 300-ish horsepower versions, and I think I might have just nicked the front bumper on the post box there. I'm getting a bit too optimistic with this, though, before I even know how it is. It's not as smooth as the Pessima, that's for sure. Yeah, definitely tighter gearing. Again, this reminds me of a Covet a lot, but it's so much more powerful. Again, thankfully, I think I just nicked the front bumper when I did go past the post box and it made a noise. So, yeah, that could have been something quite serious, but just because of the exact steering angle and such, it was not. There we are. I've got to try and manage what I'm doing. Oh, that was close to a lamppost, and I just saw a hubcap fly in front of my car, which was quite unnerving, truth be told. Oh, there we go. I mean, I could see a 2-minute 10 there. This is going to beat the Covet unless they do something stupid. Speaking of doing something stupid. Yeah, there we go. I mean, I hate what happened there, but it happened. I broke too late, and then I kind of just took another route. Oh, there's a hubcap. I found one of my hubcaps. Right, straight here as I can go, because this is not the most stable, but I can help its case by being stable myself, if that makes sense. You see, that I was bouncing, but I managed to keep the car just about stable enough to maintain good speed, and this is tough. This car can handle the abuse. Unlike a 90, not a 90, sorry, the older Pessima, which I thought could handle the abuse, but it couldn't. It just couldn't. It didn't seem to bend up the wheel like I thought it might. I think I'm going to have to just go all in on the third lap and try and push this. This can beat the Covet, but I'm surprised how close it is, honestly, though, with that 2 minute 10 first lap. Come on. I am getting kind of used to the gearing. That's always going to help me. I mean, I bet you can feel the... Not feel, sorry. Hear the open differential just crying away. I didn't see that time, and I need to brake before looking at the thing, really. The lap counter. Come on. Slow it there. Yes, clip that corner. Nicely done. Over that hubcap. Now here is a scary part for me again. I am just scared here. Use the railway tracks. Oh yes. I thought that was where I had to corner around. I didn't, but still. Does mean that I'm in a good position for when I do have to corner at the next kind of section. I managed to do those hills very well overall. Going wide, full lock, just to keep it in position. Slow it down there. I feel I should have done it earlier, but no, I'm actually in a perfect position for that corner. Clip that corner. I'm amazed just how well this corners. Up into third gear. We'll slow it down second. Yeah, this third lap, it feels like I'm properly on it as I should be. Feels like I've had a chance to get used to the car and I'm using it now. The hill could have gone better, but I feel it could have gone worse as well. 2 minutes 3, so that was quick, and I reckon the quickest of them all, which is honestly unsurprising. I mean, you look at the statistics and it won, but what's more surprising was the stuff that happened along the way. Like that Pessima's oil pan just dying on me. And moreover, yeah, I thought at this point, the way I was treating this car, I would have lost all the hubcaps. I've lost all of them, apart from this one at the back, which for some reason and somehow managed to stay on and in good order. I don't know how. But yeah, this car also, it doesn't look like I've been abusing it as much as I have. If you look at the front of it, what do you see that's maybe out of place? This bumper. And I think I clipped that post box. You don't even really see that. You definitely wouldn't get the idea I've been going over those jumps with it and stuff. No smashed windows, no missing mirrors, I don't believe. I say that. Well, yeah, I am missing a mirror. Maybe that's what the post box did to it. Took my mirror. Oh, well, yes, I'm pleased with what this sunburst has been capable of. Look at that. That wheel is a bit mangled. Oh dear. Yeah, it's like the more you look, the worse it gets. Anything with these wheels? Yeah, that one's a bit damaged, but not in any truly noticeable way. Yes. Anyway, let's go on to the next category of vehicles. So, here we have the next... So here we have the next selection of cars for a 30,000 beam, bulk, whatever you call it, range. And we have the 1.5 ZXi Special Edition Covet, so we have a nicer Covet than before. Before it was a decent version, but this is still more special. We have the absolute base model of the 200BX, but it is still a sports car, and as with my ordering, it makes more power than this, and it's rear-wheel drive. We have the Soylad Lansdale, is it? This is the facelift model, but it is still a cargo van. It's the best I could do, 2.2 litre cargo van. After that, they just go out of budget. But it does, again, it makes about 145-ish horsepower, somewhere around that. I think it's 144, but I'm probably wrong, and I'll probably regret saying that. But yes, this is in strictly because it makes power. We have the Hiwochi Sunburst Sport. Now, this isn't the 2-litre Sport, yes. It's not the all-wheel drive version, but it still puts out decent horsepower, again about 155, 156 I think. So it's more so than this minivan. I mean, I don't see that minivan beating it, but who really knows? We have this again. Actually, I just remembered something. I know, I'm getting confused. It's okay. This has about 161 I think, and that has 162. 2.0 LX Sport. So yes, we have a Vivas you might actually want to own, with some power to its name, and also a Pessima, again, that you might actually want to own, although this one I think probably still weighs less, but has about the same power, so I don't know if that can actually outperform it. We also do have the 200BX, remember, less powerful, but it's still a proper sports car. So, let's see how it'll do. Will the minivan throw up any surprises? Finally, we have this. This is about the same horsepower as the VAR, so it's just driving, but most crucially here, it actually does have sport suspension and such. It's a sport trim, whereas I don't know about the Vivas. So, you know, it may help me. Second gear, and around we go. Oh dear. I steered out, I didn't want to hit something. And then we had that happen. This was good though, I remember. The Pessima in the last set of cars we won. Oh dear, and this one maybe isn't, I don't know. I've managed not to hit anything though, or damage any important parts of my car, so I can just keep going. Again, I'll get the hang of like how much speed I can get away with over the course of this lap, I guess, with the other parts of the course. It's up here in the second gear. I wonder how fast this will be. This feels like it might well be as quick as the Sunburst, but it feels like it might not be as obviously quick as the Sunburst, if that makes sense. Now it's pulling a bit to the left. Not much at all, but it is pulling. I mean, that was my fault. I will admit, I'm not going to try and blame that on the car. Come on. Trim you. Corner. How fast is this going to be? Okay, so 2 minutes, 6 point something. Not too bad for a first lap. Can we get any quicker, I wonder, though? I don't think we're going to get like a 156 or whatever it was that the Sunburst got, but I can always try. Come on. Because this does feel fairly capable. Synchronizer gear damaged, okay. Lift a bit here. Yes, gentle, gentle. Again, another lift here. And I'm going to have to brake here because I could just feel if I didn't, it was going to start bouncing. And I was already getting quite close to the left-hand side of the road. But I overall got a good stable run through those hills. I hate to say it, but I feel this might be just a little too firm. I really don't know, because the Vivas was just obviously too soft. And that did even more damage than having a stiff car. So I don't really know how you'd engineer something to be good over there. I know one thing, and that's that the Sport Sunburst was very, very good. Third gear through here, pushing hard. And then I'm going to go down to second. Put the power down again in second here, then probably shift up as I cross the line. Oh goodness. I did not realise I was that close. The wheel would come off. Okay, well, I got a second lap at least. Oh, lap 2 was quicker than the Sunburst. If we just look there where it says 2 on the top right, 1 minute 55.291. This is faster. It did not feel like it was on that lap faster, but indeed was. So its job is done. It didn't need the third lap to get that. Okay, so here we have the next range. We have the absolute base model of the ETK 800 series. To start us off, this is a 150 horsepower car, which, yes, it's not a lot, and it doesn't sound like a lot because it isn't. It's next to a far more impressive vehicle though, a Pessima with the V6 sport suspension as well, and 181 horsepower? At 182 horsepower, we have the D-Series Fleet. I believe this is an inline 6. We're finally getting some American machinery in, and I can't get through to show you the back of the car. There we go. Round here, we might be able to... I say back of the car, it's a pickup truck. Anyway, there's the other parts. You'll see that Pessima is looking quite sporty. The ETK is rear-wheel drive though, so it has that going for it. Even nothing else. There's the pickup. This van I chose because it's a H15 and it's got a V8 making 230 horsepower. So there's a good amount of power in there, and I'm stuck. Got my fat body stuck. This is our Vivas with 230 as well. The Vivas S230, that is a sport trim, and it makes the same horsepower as a van. So we also have a muscle car, well not a muscle car, it's a Brucal Bastion with the V6, again the base model, much like the ETK, but it does make 280 horsepower, so there is a lot of power even though it's a V6. It is an auto though, only one option, and I took it. So yes, here is our selection. 3 of them are American, 1 is Japanese, and 2 are European. Let's see how these vehicles do. Now we're starting to see a bit more variation.
Here we have the Orata again, but this is the Sport Turbo, and because it's the Sport Turbo, it makes 185 horsepower. I decided I would add this in as kind of a bonus car, because when I saw it made that much power, it seems at least worth a try.
Speaking of Pessimas, we have a second generation, which is one of the nicer ones of this generation, actually, and I believe one of the better handling ones, the LX Sport. But with the V6, I think I did drive the 2.0 version of this before, but less power. This has a bit more power, so hopefully that will make it a bit quicker. Ooh, that was close. Yeah, apparently I don't know how to corner. I might have bent the wheel up a bit there, but I don't think that was major. Knock up a curb. Nice and smooth over there. Ooh, gently does it. Oh, is that a bumper? I think it is. I think I spy a bumper and I can see an ABS light coming on because I'm slamming on the brakes so hard. Things could have been worse there though. As I say that, the bumper just hanging around. Yes, the car is doing all kinds of things. It is driving straight though. Just no aerodynamic assistance will be provided by that bumper. Keeping it in third gear, which is fine for now, but I'll have to change down for this next corner. Feels fairly tough actually. I knocked a curb in the ETK and it felt like the whole thing was disintegrating on the front. But this, it does not feel like it's disintegrating on the front. Although it sounds like it's disintegrating on the front. I just want to get rid of this bumper, honestly. It feels like it's going to drag and slow the car down, and I don't like that one bit. But there's nothing I can do to just, like, get rid of it for good. Without potentially damaging the car. You know, sure, I could throw it at a tree and possibly, like, have it fly off, but if I did that, then I wouldn't be getting a good lap. I mean, maybe I'll just have to try and tolerate it. What was that first lap? Because it wasn't perfect. 2:05, that was pretty good. That was almost what the ETK did on its third and fastest lap. As I struggle to English. But yes, on its fastest lap, the ETK did a lap time. That's not that much quicker. Ooh, I think the bumper's gone under my car. So we're going nice, slow it down here. Try and find the grip. Yeah, I think that bumper's gone. Oh, I'm hearing scraping. Maybe it's clinging onto a rear bumper now. Just when you think you're done with it. Oh, that was so nice around that corner. I thought it was going to go bad, but it didn't. It just clinged on to the very end. I feel like this second lap is going to go really fast. Because I can push this car and I'm not scared of it. Ooh-wee. I feel like the back end there, I feel like I was sliding almost on a bumper, caught under a bumper, and not actually using the rear tyres. It's a bit hard to explain what I mean. Maybe on the third lap, out on those jumps, I'll lose the back end issue, grabby part for good. Come on, I don't know what that dragging is, and it's showing engine problems. I don't know why. I can't feel engine problems. I should not have done that. That was far too daring. I say as I almost do it again.
Come on. I don't even know how fast my second lap was, to be honest. Slow it down there, I could feel it bounce. Feels like maybe the suspension isn't what it was. I mean, it's doing its job, but maybe it's just not quite in the same state it was. Yeah, it's just this nasty scraping noise. I have no idea what's causing it. But it's doing it. I'm under 2 minutes now, so it's not a slow car, but I don't know if this is going to be as fast as I'd hope. Again, a bit of a slide there, and I have no idea what the overall cause was. I mean, maybe the entire chassis is just twisted all because of the jumps. The engine's not showing damage anymore, which is interesting. Round there we go. Accelerate. It could be an entirely twisted chassis, and that would also kind of explain the odd sliding sensation and the scraping. Come on, along we go. It seems to have stopped scraping. 1:55, that's a solid time. So, here we have a selection, mostly of green cars. Very, very green. I mean, look at how green these are. Nobody will know about my secret mission to destroy polar bears, because these cars are green. Anyway, we've got this first emergence of a classic car here, which is a pre-facelift Moonhawk. Actually, the more expensive one, so I just assumed that meant it was better. And it has 181 horsepower from the smallest, least powerful V8 available, but one that would just barely fit into the price range. Same here with this. It's a fleet version of the Gavril Grand Marshal, and as such it has the least powerful version of the V8, although they are all V8s this time around, and that is 194 horsepower. So we're seeing a step up in power, probably aerodynamics as well, although this has got an automatic transmission, whereas that was a manual. And this one is also a manual. This one puts out 196 horsepower. Yeah, this is kind of the Beam equivalent of a Mustang, and it's overall very sporty for an older American car. Although, speaking of sporty, we do have the Sunburst 2-litre Sport S all-wheel drive. This is a DCT model. It makes 219 horsepower, which is certainly not the most horsepower I've ever seen from a vehicle, but we have to consider it's more than that by about 20 horsepower. Sorry, 30, is it? Horsepower more? Head not working. I think 20 horsepower-ish more than that car. This one makes 230, so yes, we have a big, powerful V8 in this pickup truck. D15 V8, I've gone with the smaller version of the D15, single cab, short bed, so it's lighter, because I deemed that would make this perform better. And here we have a vehicle that's so desperate to be a Sunburst Sport RS. It looks like one we had before, and that's because it basically is, but it has the addition of all-wheel drive, which I'm hoping gives it the ability to put its power down a little better than that vehicle, which was just a bit on the slidey side, more than it should be for the amount of power it had and the tyres. So, let's see how these cars do. At least I won't be hurting the environment because they are green. So I must be honest, the Sunburst is probably quicker than the muscle cars, or not even muscle cars in the Grand Marshal's case, but the American cars we have just had, because these things are amazingly fast. This is the Sunburst Sport S, and it's basically a Subaru WRX non-STI. These are very fast cars. Even if they aren't the absolute top model. I mean, we're still getting all-wheel drive and 219 horsepower, so not a bad combination. And as we've seen before, they're tough, they can handle a bit of a thrashing. Slow it down over there. Cut across there. Yes, the extra agility given by the size is definitely useful. This is the DCT version. Again, because it's a modern car, it makes sense to go with a modern, sophisticated automatic. Up we go. And you can just see how it's taking these corners. It's not really even understeering. The other Sunbursts tended to handle decent, but you could tell they were front-wheel drive, and hence that held them back a little. Oh dear. Bit of a touch of a curb there. Probably, dare I say it, curbing these alloys. Oh, it feels like I could have done some damage, but I don't think I did, because the sunburst is up. Oh no. It's veering to the left slightly, but I don't think I tackled that corner in such an aggressive way. Front left half shaft. I might be driving a rear wheel drive sunburst. Are you going to tell me not only are you rear wheel drive, but you cannot make a left hand corner? Now, I've had it before. I've had it before where a, what do you call it? A Vivas had actually kind of bent the wheel back into shape. So I'm going to do this with the wheel and see if I can free it. Have I? No, you are not fixed, but you're less bad. Oh, now you've broken the other side. Well, this is still amazingly quick, though, remember. I only did 1 lap and 1 minute 50. It's just... somehow... I don't know, they must have borrowed some chocolate wheel axles, or half shafts in this case. I think they borrowed some chocolate half shafts from Sherrier. At this point, it didn't matter. I already got 1 lap done, and that 1 lap is probably good enough because 151 is not slow. But we'll have to see against my other 2 vehicles. So here we have the return of hidden headlights, as I can't get used to the controller. Anyway, this is the Type LS 200BX. It's, well, my hands were tied. And this seemed like the best option for what I was trying to do. It has a slightly more powerful engine, nice alloys, and ABS, that was another thing, compared to the base model, and I ultimately decided, well, it's not a bad car, even making only 147 horsepower. And yes, moving up the line up for horsepower, you'll see it's beaten by a hopper of all things. This is the absolute base model, but it's the base model with the XT6 engine and a decent 5-speed manual transmission. So, we have a car which should be nothing special, but hoppers handle and put down the power better than you would expect. Why I decided to use this over a D-series or anything. It's around about 1,500 kilos as well, but that's to say it has, let's say, it has got the 4x4 system. So I thought that would be worth a try. Again, here we're getting into the territory, though, of cars that I weren't really having to have my hands tied to choose. And the reason I say that, this is maybe not the most powerful with 180 horsepower, but we've seen before how quick the Ibishu Pessima can be. And this is the Sport S 3800 version of a Wendover, so it has a good amount of sport tuning. Here we have even more powerful still, surprisingly enough, is the diesel 190 horsepower. Oh, I think I've damaged that vehicle. But wait, is it? It's completely dinked it in there. Anyway, this is a diesel 190 horsepower ETK 800 series. I've gone with the DCT because, well, it's a modern car. Automatics in modern cars are generally pretty good. And we have, overall, hopefully a platform that can do well. My reason for choosing the diesel? Torque. Since I can afford it, just go with it for the torque. We have here this Gavril Barstow 353 V8. Sorry, I was just struggling to get my mind together with what was on the other screen showing the cars. Yeah, it's a weird orange colour, but it does have about 245 horsepower. Not bad, although it's beaten by a van. To think we have all of these actually fairly sporty looking cars, this is the most powerful out of all of them. And I believe because it's a 2006 onwards generation, we do get some niceties, uh, like the aforementioned 260 horsepower engine. We also get it's quite a heavyweight, around about 2,500 kilos. No worse than the one before, though. In fact, it is better. Short wheelbase, and that's why it's no worse. Leaf springs on the front because sportiness, I guess. And a 6-speed automatic transmission. So although we are saddled back with an automatic to an extent, it at least has a decent number of gears. And that is nice. I do like that about it. I think it also has ABS. So of all of the vans so far, which is to say a Lansdale cargo van and another H series, this should easily pull ahead of the both of them. Anyway, let's see how they actually do around a track. Okay, so here we have the ETK 190D. I'm really hoping this does well. So a cargo van doesn't become like the fastest vehicle around here. Although it doesn't sound that bad. I mean, a cargo van being the fastest does sound kind of good. It sounds no, sounds like it would be fun, but this actually does corner very well. It feels like it has decent grip, decent torque, and the power doesn't feel bad, even though it's only stated to be 190 horsepower, which is actually less than that fleet model Grand Marshal. It doesn't feel bad. I mean, I trust the modern transmission probably has a lot to do with that being a decent DCT. Even if it's stated as an auto, it is a DCT. There we go. Now that's brakes, Wendover. You see, this isn't even stated to be a sport model. This is just a regular model which happens to have a slightly more punchy engine. It's still even a 4-cylinder. You know, my learner car didn't even have much less power than this. That was 180. And thus, a modern car having this kind of power is no problem. Anyway, around here we go. This feels quick. It feels like it could easily beat that 200BX, because the thing about the 200BX, it had less power. This feels like it handles just as well, but with a bit more. And in fact, it may even oversteer less than the 200BX, which means naturally more grip around the corners. 2 minutes 1, that's about what the Hopper did on its fastest lap, but it did that on the first lap. So, you know, it's not bad at all. Still, the Sunburst Sport S, well, that was very fast. I somehow don't think we'll beat the Sport S, mainly because we have less power and rear-wheel drive. And I think the car's a bit heavier too, although, yeah, this actually does put up a fight as its own kind of sporting vehicle. Got to slow it down. That's okay. I didn't lose too much pace through there. I mean, again, I had to slow it down, but it wasn't bouncing so badly. It's actually reasonably refined over the bumps. I mean, probably because it's stiffer. I doubt you would really want suspension like this on a car you use every day, because generally being good over those bumps means it's stiff, far stiffer than you would want on kind of English roads that are widespread nowadays. And I'm in second, I should have shifted up. Thankfully this has a rev limiter, so I don't have to worry too much if I do shift a bit late or something of that nature. I also have 3 full laps to attempt to get a good one. Although there's always the opportunity I get a bit too eager and just throw it all away. Alright, second gear. Oh, almost hit that pole. As I said, I could get a bit too eager and get carried away, but the speed was in it and I could feel it. Again, that's the case. I got so close to that curb just because I want to keep this thing going, basically. And I know with this manual part of a transmission, I can keep it going even with a bit less horsepower than the Sunburst. I know this car handles it well. It handles it well, and it can kind of take the power. Thankfully, I've given it some tiny knocks on the back. I've not given it any really huge ones. I know these are known to be a bit more fragile than other older vehicles. Oof. This might actually be the right amount of power, though, for this circuit, because I remember or maybe just over 200 with four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, because I do remember that Pessima, that got a 155, I think, and that had less power than this, slightly. You know, it's just a right amount of power to have. You can have too much, though, as the Bastion proved that 280 horsepower going to just the back wheels is not going to necessarily propel the car in a way you want it to. I am surprised. The suspension on this car is far stronger than I remember the ETK, what's it called, 800 series being. Keep it in second, I would say. Good. Yes. Press it right down. Oh, that's quick. Is it as quick as a Sunburst Sport RS? Or Sport S, sorry? No, but that is still a good time. I like the way this car handles, and I don't see how the van can stand a chance against it. And here we are finalising the video, as I have to record the audio separately because before, for some reason, it sounded like I was recording with a bath towel. Anyway, now this is a totally realistic city car. You'll see I can't really drive. I'm going to essentially say I'm going to put the full leaderboard in the description or the comments, depending on how much text I can put in the description. And as for the other vehicles who have won in each category, I am going to pit them all against each other. I imagine the winner will be the Sunburst, to be honest, but the ETK did put up a good fight, so, you know, depending on the circuit and everything, that might actually show a... It might show a chance of beating the Sunburst, as low as I think that is. Anyway, that's all I've got, so I'll say goodbye until another day.